What's going on, Sumolings? Thank you for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. I am Lindsay, and I am joined by the team over at Found.ee. Found.ee is a comprehensive ad platform that makes it easy to design and run ads on premium websites for accelerated brand recognition. It is available on AppSumo right now. We are going to be diving into the walkthrough in just a minute, but first, I want to tell you a few quick things. The first is if you would like to tell us a little bit about your business, your use case, I'd love to hear it over in the chat room. The second thing, if you have any questions about the tool, you can leave those questions down below in the Q&A box. We will be circling back to those questions at the end of the walkthrough. And then the final thing is that there will be a replay of this available. So you can watch this as many times as you would like. And yeah, if you need to step out, we will miss you, but it will be okay. All right, Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. For those of you that can't tell, I am in the middle of moving. So I apologize for the scene behind me.
I appreciate and know the struggle. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you. Again, Sumolings, if you have any questions, put those in the Q&A box down below. We will circle back to those in just a little bit. But for now, Jason, you could take it away for the walkthrough.
Okay, thanks so much. I want to, I should probably turn my screen around, shouldn't I? Let's see. Share my screen, and here we go.
Looks good.
Lindsay, can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, fantastic. So those of you that haven't seen this, this will be all brand new to you, but we've had a tremendous uptake of adopters from Sumo, or from AppSumo. So welcome back, and I'm happy to give you a walkthrough. Excuse me. So the platform originated around 7.5 years ago, and in the very beginning, it was a link shortener. At the very core of the idea was that there's always going to be some sort of content you have to share across a social media profile or web or email or something else, something where you may not control the outcome ultimately. And so you want to be able to remarket to the people that have engaged. And so in this case, I'm just going to shorten any random website. I've shortened CNN.com. And as you can see, when I click on the Found.ee link, it does still take me to CNN.com. You see this in action pretty frequently. If you go to Twitter, search for Found.ee, you'll see a lot of people that are pointing off to Found.ee. And really what these are redirects. So they're going to redirect from Twitter and point you to wherever it is that they intend for you to go ultimately. So sometimes that's a publicist that's sharing an article, sharing a link with Forbes because there's a write-up or something about your company. Sometimes it's a Twitter tweet, and it's pointing from Twitter to a different article that you don't have any control over or something along those lines. And so the idea behind that is, as you share the link, other than the fact that you can customize that link and make it look much shorter. CNN is pretty short, but much shorter than a YouTube link or something along those lines. The other idea is that you're actually going to fire a pixel and build out a remarketing audience. Excuse me, when we first launched, the idea was that you can add in a Google AdWords pixel or a Facebook advertising pixel and so on. And so every link click actually fires a pixel and allows you to set up an advertising campaign on Facebook or Google and reach those people that have engaged your links. That is one part of our platform. It's been around for almost 8 years. Fast forward to today, we actually built our own data management platform and our own advertising platform as well. So you can still set up and run a Google AdWords account, a pixel, a Facebook pixel, an AdWords pixel, really whatever it is you want. But if you don't set up any of those, it's fine because every account comes pre-equipped with your own Found.ee remarketing pixel as well. So every link, click, and page and so on will fire the pixel and gives you an ability to reach those people that have actually engaged your links. You can also take this pixel, of course, and put it onto your website, into your store, and into your blog, and so on. And every engagement is going to help you build out that audience. I'll show you what happens when those links are clicked. So by default, every account is going to come with about a dozen audiences that are pre-configured. Total audience is one of those that you can that will come pre-configured. You can also build out audiences. So you can say, I want to reach people that specifically, I'm going to pretend that we're Thaddeus here, specifically clicked on this Found.ee/drift-bandcamp link. And so you come in, we'll take this link, pretend this is ours. It's not ours, of course, so that won't work. We're going to say Bandcamp, and we're going to say the location URL. This will get a little specific for a moment, but we don't have to. We don't have to talk about this for too long. However, this is how you can build out your own audience. I'm not going to build this one because it won't do anything for me. But this would be how we can set up an audience for Bandcamp, and then we can subsequently remarket to that. Instead, though, I will show you what we can do. Let's pretend that we've been working with selling goods on Amazon for a while at this point. We have 124,000 people that have clicked on our links, gone to our website, and subsequently showed some sort of engagement going to Amazon. Well, this is how quickly and easily you can reach those people. Amazon campaign. There's no minimum budget. A lot of people ask the question though, how much money should I spend? Really, the question you have to ask yourself first is about your goals, what your objectives are. If you have any experience with running advertising already, you should know how many people on average when you're setting up a test audience or a test campaign or a new offer or something, how many people from Google or Facebook you need to drive to your landing page before you can start to see conversions, whether that's an email capture or a form fill lead or selling a product. Maybe you're selling, I don't know, face masks or something. Maybe you're selling paleo or keto meal plans or something like that. Whatever it is, you might have an understanding of how many people you need to drive to this landing page, or in this case, into an Amazon page, before you can start to see some conversions. We like to tell people, try to drive at least 1,000 people in the very beginning. Most agencies will tell you spend $5,000 or something along those lines. A lot of us on here are pretty scrappy startups and small businesses and scrappy agencies that are trying to figure out things in a much more accelerated way. So we tell people just drive 1,000 people. On the right-hand side, you're going to start to see some estimations begin to show up. These are estimations, and they're going to definitely depend on what you're doing. So in this case, we're targeting the 120,000 people, or whatever that was in the Amazon physical. We can also add in interest targeting if you want to do that. You don't have to in this case, but if you need to expand, you can certainly do that. And then select where you want to target. Now we can pick entire countries. We can drill down to zip codes. If it's a restaurant and you just want to target people within half a mile of your restaurant or something like that, you can absolutely do that as well. Let me grab a link. I will grab, this is a shared account, by the way, so don't judge too harshly what you see on here. Let's see. Okay, it's a very long URL. So let's see what happens there. All right. Now I will grab any old asset. There we go. Oh, no, that one's way too big. My bad. We'll just use a completely unbranded fake link right now. So we also get a lot of questions about what to put into the ad. Well, in order for your ad to get approved, you need to have your brand name in there. You have to call out who you are, as in the company that's advertising. It doesn't have to be the agency representing the brand. It should be the brand itself, and what it is that you're selling. So in this case, I don't know what I clicked on, an enamel, cast iron, Dutch oven. So you want to put something into the ad, some sort of information about the product itself. It's an enamel cast, an enamel cast iron Dutch oven. And so you want to put that kind of information there and then tell people why it's compelling. So that's the what, but why is it compelling? Well, it's a lot cheaper than one of the Le Creusettes, let's say. Cheaper in cost, obviously, because you're not going to tell people that it's a piece of junk. You want to tell people that it's only $50 instead of it being whatever, it'd be $350 if there's a Le Creuset. So you can see where my interests lie, because I know how much the Crusades generally cost. And there we go. So we're done, actually. If I click finish, we're absolutely done sending with the ad campaign, driving people to Amazon. Of course, we could have added a lot more creatives in here. And the more creatives you add, well, the system, if you add another creative, it'll start to go into an A/B testing mode. If you add in 3 or more creatives, it'll go into multivariate testing mode. So if you don't know which call to action is going to be better, is it going to be buy now or rate here or review or more information or whatever it is? Usually it's a more directive call to action, telling people to do something. Not click here, but buy now or watch this or something like that. But if you want to test, add 3, 4, 5 banners. You can add them all the same size, 300 by 250. Make them all entirely the same. And the only thing that you'll change is the call to action itself. And then the system will actually run a multivariate test. It'll try to find the prevailing ad unit for you, but it doesn't get stuck with that local maxima like a lot of Facebook ad campaigns that, for anybody that's ever run those, where they're like, oh, okay, after the first 500 impressions, this is a winner. Our system will actually cycle through again. It's looking at time of day, day of week. It's looking at area that you're targeting. It's looking at the people that you're targeting and so on. Well, since we're in the advertising, I suppose I should probably continue instead of here. But I'll show you how we get here. So from the home page, other than clicking on one of these reach buttons, it takes us into set up a remarketing campaign. You can also just click on the ad setup on the left-hand side. And as you can see, there are a lot of different types of advertising campaigns. In this case, your drafts will be here. It's our test campaign, our test account, so don't mind it too much. So we just looked at remarketing. There's also Spotify audio and iHeart audio. These are only available in the US currently, but anybody that's trying to promote a podcast, I'll show you something else that we can do in a second. But these are actually audio. So, they're sort of a digital radio format, effectively. Spotify will show you click data. iHeart will not, unfortunately. That's just the nature of their system. They don't report that data back. They want to be truly like digital radio, just like radio for anybody who's ever run an ad. There's no such thing as a click report. So that's what they do. So I'm going to take you into premium and otherwise prospecting banner ads and HTML5 ads. So in this case, let's set up a premium campaign. Premium ads, USA. We'll set a budget. Again, whatever budget you want, except 0, of course. And we'll set the same date range. They usually want to give these, up to 24 hours to be audited. There are humans involved in the auditing process. That said, our system will process, we can process hundreds of thousands of creatives a month. 24 hours, though, is recommended. Give yourself a little bit of time. Can you start day of? Absolutely. And we find ourselves doing that all too frequently. So feel free to try that. Usually, if it runs day of, it'll take 3 or 4 hours to audit. It also depends on the landing page and stuff like that. But all right, we'll show you what makes the system pretty special, we think. So we have what we call premium advertising selections on the right-hand side, or left-hand side, and then on the right-hand side, we have max clicks. And the difference really between these two are premium sites are collections of websites that are generally, you'll find difficult to run advertising on because they're not available through Google AdX or Google AdWords. And if you go direct, you normally have to have a $10,000 budget for your insertion order. You normally have to go through the insertion order process. And you're really just going to target one website at that point if you only have a $10,000 budget. On top of that, you're also generally paying around the $17 CPM. In our case, just take a look at this list. Here we go. You can see Inc. and Fortune and VentureBeat and Fast Company, all sorts of interesting websites. These are pretty pricey generally. In our case, our CPMs actually average under $3. So, I can tell you from 2019, our average was actually $2.89 for premium website targeting. And that was across literally thousands and thousands of advertising campaigns in a lot of different, with a lot of different targeting setups. This year, Over the last couple of months, it's actually been lower than that. We're waiting to put out any benchmark reports, and part of it might be because of the time we're living in. Some people are some major advertisers have pulled out, and it's leaving a lot of inventory on the table. So gives us the rest of us an opportunity to run advertising as well. We're already getting 84% off on average. Now we're getting an even better deal than that. So this is if you want to target and be on really premium websites. If you want to be on Forbes, if you want to be on New York Times, if you want to be on Wall Street Journal, if you want to be on TechCrunch, do premium. If what you want is a combination of those things and maybe more behavioral targeting like you find on Facebook or Google, well, you can add in your own sort of interest in contextual and behavioral and intent targeting and stuff like that. But you might find that your top 10 report isn't going to be Forbes and TechCrunch and stuff like that. So if you really want to be on premium, just select premium. If you want to create your own version of a max clicks, which is kind of what these are, then select premium, and you can also start to build out your own interest targeting on top of that. Or you can default to one of the ones that we built for you. A lot of people ask which websites are included. Well, I don't have a full list because it's literally millions and millions and millions. And so what we've done is we've pulled together lists for you. You can add domains in here though. If you want to add in GQ, go for it. If you don't like QZ, which I don't really know what that is, you can also deselect it and so on. But I'll continue to move it forward since that was a long explanation of premium. All right. Okay, so now we can do the same thing. We can upload multiple banners. We can upload, just one banner. All it takes is one banner to run. But you can upload multiple, and the system will also perform an A/B or multivariate test. With premium, it's attempting to get you the best possible placements on the most premium websites with the lowest dollar. And so that's really where it focuses its energy. If you're looking for a lot of clicks, try max clicks, try interest. If you're looking to build a branding campaign, try premium. It's going to get you the most bang for your buck in terms of maximizing your impressions on those premium websites. So now take you to something else that we can do. Instead of running banner ads, we can also run, let's see if I can make this look a little bit better on here. There we go. So this is one of our videos. Instead of running static banner ads or even, what would you call them, animated GIFs or something like that, you can actually run fully interactive ads. So in this case, on those websites, we can put into it. On the website, we can actually, on those websites that we're targeting, we can put interactive ads directly into it. And so these can be a YouTube video that is actually playable. These can be a Spotify player if you're trying to promote a podcast or something else. It can even be an Apple Music player if you want to put your podcast into an Apple ad unit and then put it on, let's say you're focused on tech and entrepreneurs. We'll put it into a tech and entrepreneur ad group and target the TechCrunches and Mashables of the world and stuff like that. And we're done at this point. If I click finish, we're launching a campaign, and that's all it takes. So I'll take us back a step again. We also have email advertising. So this allows you to actually run what's called programmatic email advertising, meaning you're not sponsoring an entire email blast. A lot of premium email or a lot of premium publishers now insert programmatic ad space. So when an email loads, depending on what you're targeting, you can get into the TechCrunches and GQs or Complex magazines or Variety or whatever it is. And you can build most of your ad campaign directly inside of here. I won't take us through that process because I feel like we've done it a couple of times at this point. It's lightly different. But what I will take you through is setting up your own interactive ad. So I'd also like to show that, for anybody that maybe doesn't have Photoshop skills, or simply just wants to skip a couple steps and put a video directly in front of people, put a Spotify or Apple podcast directly in front of people, you can do that too. All right. So in this case, you want to grab, I'm just going to show you, we can grab, I'm not going to grab the Carly Rae Jepsen album, but we can grab that. Earlier though, instead, I found a Spotify embed, which you guys may have seen in the fumble earlier. And we're going to go ahead and give this some header. Everything here is customizable, actually. So you can change the text, you can change the font, you can change the color, change the background. You can upload backgrounds as well. So if you do have some Photoshop skills, or if you just want to go to get some free license for some background image, you can upload those as well. But I'll keep it incredibly simple. And let's go back to body. Listen to my podcast. For those of you that remember from earlier, when I said you should be compelling, I'm not being very compelling here, but it's fresh and awesome. Of course, you can then center any of these things and so on. There we go. And we're done. This white space will not show up. We can also change the color to match this blue background if we want, but no. Sorry, I gotta get rid of this bar so I can click the create button. Gotcha. Let's go take a look. Voila. You guys are probably noticing that the gray isn't as cool looking. So when you set up this type of ad campaign, don't worry when you check it in preview mode. It's it'll take you to a blog post about the interactive ads themselves. But when you set up your ad campaign, like earlier when we chose a creative, you can actually choose the destination. So in this case, I would assume if you're promoting a podcast, even though it's fully functional.
Hello and welcome to Gimlet Academy, the podcast about how to make.
Even though it's fully functional from within there, you still want to drive people maybe to your podcast page after that. And so you can do that. The sky is really the limit in terms of what these can look like. So if you can be more creative than me in 30 seconds, then I'm sure you can make that look a lot better than I just did. And let's see. So I'm going to build out a landing page. Speaking of where you might want to drive people. So the system also lets you build out currently two different kinds of landing pages. So we have the sort of mobile only version. And then we have the mobile responsive, but it starts off in a more two-column traditional landing page style format. This is pretty much what you see is what you get. Some slight differences. So when you click create, you're going to see the differences, but pretty much the same. So here we go. So let's give this, give it a header about welcome to my page. Here I am selling different Amazon products. And let's see, put a banner in here of some sort. And we can totally change out the background. I won't burn your eyes with this pink color though. So let me just make it, just go black. Let's go white there. Okay. You can add in different kinds of widgets in here, including, this can be a MailChimp email capture widget if you'd like it to be that. You can also, if you want to add in a different kind of email capture, you can just grab them from these drop downs here as well. And let's say Amazon, let's get this version. This is the longest link in the world. Oops. Keep forgetting my keyboard's not plugged in because I have this external camera plugged in instead. And maybe you're selling something else on Walmart. I don't have a Walmart link handy, so I'll just make one up. There we go. So this can be a lot prettier, of course, but I've literally just created a landing page. And voila. So a couple interesting things about this. When you share this, all the pixels that we looked at in the very beginning of this call, they're going to fire. So now you can build out an audience of people that specifically came into this campaign landing page. Maybe that's because you set up an ad campaign or you're targeting a specific group. You want to be able to remarket to those people in that group that actually engage. Maybe it's for a certain promotion or something like that. But whatever the case, all the pixels that are associated with your account, as we looked at earlier, in my case, it is a Facebook pixel, Google AdWords pixel, and of course the Found.ee pixel. And by the way, you don't need anything. You can turn these, you can delete these, you can turn off the pixel, but it will render large parts of the platform not to do all of the things that we've just shown you. But you can turn off any of these. So when you share this, whether it's from Twitter or from a newsletter or from an ad campaign or something like that, well, you're going to fire those pixels. The other really cool thing, though, is as people then click on Amazon or Walmart or whatever it is, the system picks up on the fact that they're clicking on Amazon. They didn't click on Walmart. They clicked on Amazon. And you can have 40 links in there, or however many links you want. I don't recommend more than 5, but you can have a ton of links in there. Well, as somebody specifically chooses to engage Amazon, well, this all goes back into our audiences section. So I think earlier we clicked on an Amazon link, or one of these Amazon audiences here, like this one. And so that means that we can target the people that are coming to the page and clicking on Amazon at that point. So now when you want to set up and run a remarketing advertising campaign, you know how to target the people that specifically chose Amazon, and you know how to target people that specifically chose Walmart, and so on. You also know who didn't click on any of those, because you can just build an audience of people that came here. And so now you can tailor your advertising, your remarketing experience to people based on the phase of the funnel that they're in. Maybe they're still in the process of consideration, really need to get an understanding of why it is they care. So continue with your value propositions or something like that. But maybe the people that clicked on Amazon or Walmart, they're right on the verge of didn't convert as of yet. So maybe you want to get a little more deal oriented with your advertising campaign messages and stuff like that. And these are of course responsive. So people are coming in from mobile. But as I mentioned earlier, you can also build out the mobile only version as well. And a couple more things. So you may have noticed that these all say Found.ee, and that's by default. You can also build out your custom domains as well. And so you can make it something like this, linkbytime.com. I don't know. I don't know what these tests are. So you can build out your own custom domains as well, and you can skip Found.ee, basically. And so all the links that you create, all the short links, all the smart links, all of the smart pages, and so on, they will be branded with your domain. There are specific instructions, which I won't belabor inside of here, but I highly recommend that you read them. I should probably make this a little bit bigger, but there's an instruction article in here. Oops, gotta fix that. There's an instruction article in here that I think we just changed the links on today. So we'll fix that right after this call. And that'll show you exactly, it'll get into more detail about like how to, specifically do your custom domain setup with GoDaddy, domain.com, and Namecheap. There are a lot of other registrars you can do this with. There are 3 in particular that we know how to do it with pretty well. So those are the ones that we highlight. Let's see. Excuse me. So a lot of agencies use our platform and have asked questions about how to, let me go into a different account. Let me just create an account. So a lot of agencies use this platform, and they want to know how to build out an architecture, a user architecture that makes sense for them. So what happens is a lot of times people will have their sort of login account. In this case, I'm just going to pretend that that's client-account. Now, they also probably want to build out a, their client Amazon people account separately. And what they do in here is, they can create an account that's a pretty simple account, which has no ability to log in from the outside. And in this case, probably don't want to do that if you have a client. So what is their account? Let's pretend it's that, or their email is that rather. My client, there we go. You give them a temporary password. And then when they log in, they can change their password immediately, but you're still going to have access to that account. Since I don't want to clutter our system with fake emails, I will just do this instead. And there we go. So we just created a client account. And what that means is it means that you can very quickly access your client accounts, and you can keep all of the links and all of the remarketing audience data, all of the pixel fires, all of your advertising accounts, et cetera. You can keep it all in one place, basically, for each of your clients. That way, if you have two clients selling two totally different things on Amazon, you don't build out this sort of catch-all audience of people that have gone to Amazon and instead of a remarketing campaign and accidentally use one client's audience for a different client. You probably find that a lot of times it's not going to work out very well. But there are some clients where this does make a lot of sense, by the way. So maybe it's actually, here's a better example. Maybe you're a brand and you have a lot of sub-brands. And so you want to keep the data separate. You want to give one team access to, your client account or the sub account, the sub brand, and you want to give a different department access to a different sub brand account, and so on, because you want the links to be separate. You want the audiences to stay separate. You want the advertising. You want everything to basically stay separate. But maybe there's a co-promotion at some point, and in that co-promotion, it makes a lot of sense to target each other's audiences. And I'm just going to use a fake audience, of course. And in this case, I'm going to show you what you can do. So in this case, I own this fake audience inside of this account. And I'm going to click this share button. And we will go ahead and remove. Oh, there's a lot of, I think I've done a lot of walkthroughs using this one. Okay, so here's how quickly you can share an audience across accounts. You type in the email of the owner of the account or the user ID. As we just said, you can create an account without an email. You can then select when you want to offer the audience for. So I'm going to say today, let's just say that the campaign should start tomorrow or something, and I'll set it for today. The campaign, the co-promotion is going to end on August 21st. So that's it. I give it a start date and an expiration date. I click share. The audience is now shared. Now Thomas can see that audience inside of his account. What he does not get is, he does not get any sort of hashed data to download. There's no CSV file. There's no list of cookies anywhere or pixel IDs or anything like that. There's no emails. There's nothing. What Thomas gets is like what I have here. He gets an ID that's associated to the account. He gets a name. And he gets a size. As you notice here, there's no ability for me to reshare this this remarketing audience. I can't reshare it because it's not mine. This has been shared with me. But I can reach people within this audience, and that's it. It gives me access to reach the people, but without any sort of downloadable or replicable audience data. You can simply target it. So you can exchange with each other. If that makes any sense, you can exchange across brands. For some companies that are familiar with the idea of the co-op advertising budgets, you can maybe share advertising budgets with the brand that is providing you with that thing inside your store or whatever it is. But it gives you an opportunity to basically take these audiences, build out maybe a larger audience or a really specific audience even, and then reach people through one advertising account, even though all of the data is actually being built and stored separately. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else specifically to show on this. I don't think we have so much more time left. I think that's a fair amount of it. If you want to look into your link stats, if you want to look into your, if you want to edit your pages, edit your links and so on, if you want to change out, you know, your link from a /LD9Q or something, you can do that pretty easily. You just click the edit button, swap this out. This can be YouTube's. And there we go. And we have a new URL instead. And again, you don't have to use Found.ee if you're building out your own branded custom domain inside of the domain section. And yeah, I feel like that's the majority of it. I would recommend for anybody that's signing up, definitely pay attention to the you know, the stuff that you're going to get when you first log into the account. So there are product walkthroughs. The first time you set up first time you log into the account, you'll see one will take you through like 9 steps really quickly and show you where some of these things are. As you go to different pages for the first time, it'll also show you some other sort of walkthroughs that pop up and so on. So if you pay attention to those, that'll be very helpful. We also have a pretty robust help section as well. So we collect these into different articles. There are walkthrough videos, there are case studies, and so on. And I think that's it, Lindsay, unless, should we jump into Q&A?
Let's do it. Sumolings, if you have any questions, this is your moment. Go ahead and leave those in the Q&A box. The first question I'm actually going to take, will we have access to this recording? Yes, you will. There will be a replay available. You can watch this a gazillion times if you want. Don't do that. But yeah, you can watch it as many times as you want. All right.
Will you guys edit my fumbles or no, I'm just kidding.
I can make no promises. Your mistakes live on forever. All right. I'm going to go through some of these questions. Just going to start from the top. What about foreign markets like in Europe? Is it English speaking only?
No, so as long as you're able to use the platform, which is all written in English, you can absolutely target people all over the world. So we have, you know, I can rattle off, we have a lot of French advertisers, we have German advertisers, we have Italian advertisers, we have Brazilian advertisers, which is obviously not Europe, but I'm just saying, Spanish people in Spain as well.
Awesome.
And people in Denmark, I think. I mean, we have thousands of agencies and companies using this, and a lot of those people are all over the world, yes.
Amazing. Do you have a choice of placing an ad above the fold, etc.?
So the system actually auto-optimizes for whichever type of campaign that you're setting up. So, you know, if you're trying to get clicks, you're trying to get impressions, you're trying to get premium impressions, the system is going to cycle through and try to get you the best possible placement, which is usually above the fold, so that you know, you can actually, you know, reach your goal. You know, you're not going to get clicks as frequently if an ad is at the bottom. That said, there isn't a specific setting in here. There are some advanced settings. There's no specific setting to choose exclusively above the fold or anything like that. So the system will try to do that for you.
All right. For the video ads, can we stream from a CDN as opposed to just YouTube or Vimeo?
As of right now, the video ads need to come directly from a YouTube embed. We actually do have a whole network of well, connected TVs and really all sorts of different kinds of video ad units and inventory. We haven't made that available yet in the front end because there just hasn't been enough interest to build that into the front end as of yet. But I'll take that as a vote for it, and we'll add that into the we'll plus one the roadmap. It's definitely in the roadmap. We just haven't had enough interest for extending the video network as of yet.
Awesome. Oof. All right. Can we customize the domain / white label the landing page URLs?
So you can definitely customize the domain. So you don't have to use Found.ee. You can make that your domain instead. You can just read the help files under custom domains. So you don't want to do that wrong. And you can do it that way. Unfortunately, there's no white label for the platform itself. We do, however, so everything you've seen has APIs already built. And we actually do power a number of other companies' technologies. So if somebody is actually interested in building out a white label or interested in doing like an enterprise API integration, then you can definitely reach out to us and we'd be happy to have that conversation.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, okay. Which categories are not allowed? Dun, dun, dun.
Oh, that's it's probably a big question to rattle off.
Yeah.
Certainly, some of the usual suspects. I think some people have reached out and asked if political advertising is allowed. It is allowed. It's not allowed just by default because there are a number of things you have to do, like file an application and register your information about who you're representing, where you're at, et cetera, and state and federal specific rule, regulation and stuff like that as well. So if you're asked about politics, you can email us and we can talk to you about that. It is a bit more of a process. If you're asking about, so we definitely have some information in the help section about what is allowed and what's not allowed.
Cool.
That'll probably be easier than rattling them all off. Yeah.
But
we accept a lot more than you'd suspect, like compared to Facebook and Google, for instance.
There was a specific question for CBD products.
Yeah, we actually have some of the largest CBD product brands in the world that use our platform. So you probably wouldn't recognize it because we're using custom domains as well. Yeah, we have some of the largest CBD brands in the world use this, or I guess in America.
Amazing. Sorry, landing page. Do you have to have Amazon, Walmart, or another store, or can you do without?
No, yeah, you can do, so right now you do need some kind of a button in there. I don't know why you'd not want some kind of a button, but that's a good question. Maybe we can remove that requirement. As of right now, you need some kind of a button. It can be a link going back to your website. It can be the email capture button. It can be something that goes to YouTube. It can really point anywhere, but there needs to be some kind of a button currently.
All right. Can those links be represented with only the PNG icons of the sites? Like for book authors, it looks cleaner to have just the Amazon icon instead of a long white box with a black background.
Oh, right now they're all buttons. Yeah, they're just full on buttons.
Cool. Does each creative show how many clicks it got and where they came from?
Yeah, it does. Or they do. So don't mind my test campaign. Well, in this case, I guess you're going to see that this is a single creative. It is a Spotify audio player. But this will actually start to show up inside of here and show you the individual creatives as well, how they're performing. These are both Spotify audio players and so on. So in this case, a lot of clicks in Portland on that one specific ad. Let me see if I have one that has a lot of banners.
Cool.
No, not off the top of my head. But yeah, if you can find one in here though. And then what you'll see on the right-hand side is ultimately you'll see the prevailing ad unit at the top, and then you'll see a list of ads below it that are doing really well. And how well they're doing. The one at the top is the best performer, and then below that will be just a list of the other ones and how well they're doing.
Amazing. What is the maximum number of clients per account?
Oh, that's a good question. I've never seen a maximum actually hit. I'll try to report back. I know that we have one brand that has 200 they're not really sub accounts. They're technically external accounts, but what we'd probably think of as like a sub account. They have like 200. And we're still fine there. So if you have more than that, just email us. It's cs@thefoundgroup.com.
Awesome. Is there a way for us to upload emails or hashed emails of past customers and target the audience that way?
No, not right now. I'd like to add that at some point. Again, we haven't had enough interest to make that work. You know, the very rapid way for you to be able to build out an audience, put Found.ee links into your emails when you send out a newsletter. Put the pixel on the landing page, on the store, on the blog. You will very rapidly build out your audience.
Awesome. Are we still able to add sub accounts?
Yep. Yep, you just got to and then create them really quickly.
All right. Is it possible to mix pixels from other pixel/link providers?
I think I understand. So you can add whatever pixels you want in here. You know, we've tested for like a couple dozen. I'm sure you can find a pixel eventually that has some sort of a problem. I would say just add a pixel, test a link. But yeah, you can add in pretty much any pixel. We first built this to be totally agnostic. So we didn't have our own pixel 8 years ago. It was all Facebook and Google Analytics and AdRoll and stuff like that. I don't know of any other link shorteners that have their own pixel, but you can add our pixel to other link shorteners so long as the link shortener allows for it. But we allow you to take this pixel and put it anywhere. You just put it into the body, or if it's a different link shortener, like Genius Links or something like that, then I believe they have a direct integration with us. If not, they have like a custom field to paste it in.
Awesome. Somebody said they posted in the chat. I'm not reading the chat. If you have a question, I don't say that to be rude. I'm so sorry. It's just way easier for me to keep track of like what questions have been asked if you send them to the Q&A box. So please send your questions to the Q&A box so that I actually see them. I promise I'm not trying to ignore you on purpose. All right. I'll be honest, I don't totally understand all of these questions. Can sharing audience be done by buying outside of Found.ee? Are we able to add sub accounts? Yes.
Oh, can you share an audience to another platform? I think that might be, so the sharing of audiences within Found.ee, because our idea behind that is that you get to keep this secure. There's no exporting, you know, hash anything or, you know, downloading emails or whatever else and then uploading somewhere else. The system, you know, we're trying to do this in a much more secure way. You really just get access to, you know, being able to target the audience if somebody grants you that access. You don't get to download any sort of personal data. Part of that is also to be GDPR compliant and CCPA compliant, and really all of the compliances that are to come. Speaking of, for people that didn't see that, anybody in Europe or in California, the landing pages have built-in GDPR compliance. So, you know, if you're in Europe and you load a landing page, you're going to see a modal at the bottom, actually, that requires people to opt in to fire the pixels. If you're in California, there are the, you know, manage and purge and revoke and all those settings that are necessary for CCPA. But yeah, we really want data to be private, and we want to make sure that we're empowering people to be able to collect data, but in a way that satisfies GDPR and CCPA compliances.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
We have some people curious about the magic of it all. They're wanting to know, how are you getting low CPMs?
I mean, that's our business. We, I mean, there is some proprietary magic in there. We do have some deals directly with publishers and channels or platforms, platforms. A lot of this can be done. A lot of this is programmatic, and we connect to a lot of different exchanges. I don't want to tell you exactly how the
you don't have to tell us all of your secrets.
Yeah,
I think they just want to know, is it real?
Absolutely. Actually, there's already been there's been a lot of advertising campaigns coming out of the Sumo lanes.
Yeah.
And we have people emailing, they're like, I'm getting an 18-cent CPC and I'm on Forbes. And first of all, you shouldn't measure your cost per click on premium. that's a branding play. You're looking for impressions at really low cost. But when you combine that type of targeting with HTML5 ads, with interactive ads, you can really get amazing cost per clicks as well. And then, on the max click side, excuse me, those are a little easier to deliver a really awesome cost per clicks because it's not relegated to, the advertising isn't just focused on 27 domains. It's targeting, millions or more people that have shown an interest in cheeseburgers or whatever that thing is, which means you can reach them anywhere. And so it allows the system to bid on them where they're at when it's cost effective for you, basically.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, a few people, I'll tell you, the Q&A, they had some guesses as to how it was being done. So I figured you could explain it better.
Yeah.
And it sounds great. Can this service be used by beginners who are new to digital marketing?
Yeah. So, we tried to do this in a way where we're keeping things kind of framed pretty well, so that if you just follow the steps and you don't try to customize too much, the system will run the best possible advertising campaign for you that it can. You can go through and you can say, I don't want one of these, websites in this list of 27 domains, and I want to add in all these different types of targeting, and I only want to reach, women between 18 and 44 or whatever. You can do all those things if you really want to. As you do that, you really are constricting the system, and it could work really well. Maybe that's the perfect audience. Or you can just target people based on the interest in the offer and let the system find people within that audience that are likely to engage. And so that's what the system's designed to do. For people that have actually run a Facebook advertising campaign or a Google AdWords campaign, I think we took 30 seconds to set up an ad campaign, and I really stopped and belabored every point along the way. The equivalent for somebody that's brand new, we've done a lot of tests like this where we watch people set up advertising campaigns on Facebook and Google and Found.ee. The equivalent is like 14 minutes for a first campaign, usually largely incorrectly. So yeah, this is actually built for people to just say, okay, I know what I want to sell. I know who my target audience is. I know what my budget is, go. And it also works for agencies and people that have full-time media buyers on it, because we have things like premium advertising you can't get through AdWords. So we're really trying to fit for both the person that's new and give people some value propositions for people that are maybe longtime media buyers.
Awesome. You mentioned cost per click and cost per 1K impressions. Which are we paying for when running an ad?
So all the bidding is done on CPM, but there are averages for the CPCs that show up in the calculations. There's probably a question in there, and if it's not in there as of yet, or if they don't get to it, our average cost per click is 28 cents. Compared to Google, which I think, according to Forrester and AdStage's recent benchmark reports for Q2 this year, are roughly 78 cents or something like that, compared to Facebook's, which are roughly 54 cents.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about averages, and we have a lot of DIY creators, podcasters that have very small followings, musicians that are trying to grow their audience and so on. And it's there in part how we skew a little bit higher on the 28 cents. 28 cents it's an average, but it's when we see people that have really strong creatives, strong brands, good offers, the right targeting for that sort of thing. I mean, you can get to 2-cent cost per clicks, just like you can on Facebook or anything else. So yeah, on average, without touching a thing, our average CPC is 28 cents. And so average to average, we actually outperform Facebook and Google. And then of course you can, for the media buying pros on here, I'm sure you can set up a lot of different campaigns and creatives and figure out how to get those really, really low CPCs.
Yeah, that's awesome. Will this work for local businesses?
Yeah. So All the same tools, building out the links and sharing those, if you, like a lot of local businesses, I don't know, maybe it's a plumbing shop or something, and you have a bunch of videos on maybe you have how-to videos for people, to help promote your business, but also so people can do some stuff at home. In every one of the descriptions, put one of your Found.ee links, and that'll help you build out your audience. If you have a social media channel, Twitter or Facebook, whatever else, every time you share a link, use a Found.ee link and build your audience. Now, this is going to help you reach the people that are specifically engaged, something that you already have, you've already built. But you can also set up an ad targeting homeowners. For instance, we have homeowner audiences in there under interest. Target homeowners because homeowners are the ones that are going to pay for plumbers. You can then set up specific zip codes. You can maybe say, I want to target all of Atlanta DMA, or you can target the 1 square mile or 5 square miles or whatever it is that you actually service. You can absolutely do that.
Amazing. All right. We have if you have any more questions, we have just a few more minutes here. So if you have any more questions that you really desperately want answered, you can go ahead and send those in. I have a few more here that I want to ask. For Spotify, can we advertise a product/service instead of a podcast?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think Spotify actually started and does most of their revenues, from my understanding, with non-podcast advertising, non-music advertising. You can absolutely do that. Treat it like local radio if you'd like.
What does a 1-day turnaround look like?
On advertising? So usually, if an ad can get audited within a day, it's usually about 4 hours. The advertising will start, and then it takes a couple of hours for the impressions to start showing. So it might take 6 to 8 hours before you see the impressions. So don't be alarmed. Sometimes though, if you have a complicated landing page, if you have creatives that almost have your brand represented, but maybe there's a little ambiguity in there, then the auditors will take a little more time verifying the quality of the creatives on the landing page. And so that might take 24 hours.
Cool. All right. Newbie question. How are the ads paid for? By the client? Is there a way for them to enter their credit card details? Just curious about best practices for this. Thanks for guidance.
Right. That's a great question. Sounds like an agency or a consultant. So that's one of the reasons why we say build out these other accounts for your clients, because then they can go into their account, they can add in their own credit card, and they can keep track of all their transactions within their account. They can also see their own reporting and so on. So yeah, I would say build out an account for your client. One with an email and a temporary password. They can change that when they log in, and then have them come in and just fill out their credit card information.
Amazing. Do I have to have an AdWords account to do this, or can I just use Found.ee alone?
Yeah, this is a standalone advertising platform. There's no connection to Facebook or Google outside of us, or your ability to basically share links on wherever and gather the audiences that click on a status update. We do have access to Google AdX inventory. It's not AdWords. AdWords is a very bloated advertising platform. Mm-hmm. We have access to the actual inventory, but we're also not exclusively AdX. We have like 24 some odd exchanges that we connect to. So no need for an AdWords.
And I do want to apologize if something was covered before. I'm not apologizing to you, Jason. I'm apologizing to the guests. If something happened before you got in here and I didn't ask that question, I'm sorry, but there is a replay available, so you can rewatch this to see anything that you may have missed. If you're watching this live, we really love you being here. But we'll be here forever if we have to repeat everything. I'm so sorry. All right. We got a lot of questions. I just put out that last call and we got a lot of questions. I'm so sorry. We're gonna try to get through these. They want to know how many clients they can build an account for. I know that we've talked about maximums and nobody hitting it yet.
Yeah, I don't have a specific number for you yet. I'll try to report back. I would say 200 pretty easily.
Great.
So if you have more than that, good for you.
Good for you.
We'll make sure that we get you set up.
All right. Can reporting be white label at least? Is there reporting APIs or integrations to visualize and report KPIs outside of your platform?
We definitely have reporting APIs. It's same answer earlier. Those are enterprise APIs. If you're interested in that, just email us. We can definitely talk about that. Yeah, let's have a chat.
Amazing. Sorry if this has already been asked. On Spotify, there is I don't know what this minimum refers to. On Spotify, there's a 250 minimum. When you are going through Found.ee, is there the same minimum?
No. So a couple awesome things is that Found.ee offered Spotify audio advertising before Spotify. And one of those things, because we were very early on, I mean, they obviously had, the inventory allotted through an exchange, but one of the things that we sort of got grandfathered in is that we have no minimums. You can run $5. It's not going to go very far. Yeah, you can run $50, $100, you can run $5. You don't have a minimum.
Amazing. Will all accounts added in the permissions tab be upgraded to premium?
Well, so this is probably going to be on replay. That's a good question. Probably good for Lindsay to be on the call. So with AppSumo, the premium is actually one code per AppSumo account. That said, we have been upgrading some of these, I think you call them sub-accounts, to premium for free as well. That won't last forever. I should probably, let's just have like 10 caveats in there. That definitely can't last forever. And certainly not after the AppSumo deal itself. So depending on when you're watching this, the answer is probably no. But if you're live right now, feel free to email us your list of user IDs and your account that is connected to the AppSumo account that you've created your premium account through, because we want to make sure that we're honoring people within this AppSumo deal, basically.
Amazing. All right. So I know that you mentioned this earlier. I think this is a great place to end. Somebody did ask again about, yes, CBD companies are allowed. Jason.
Yeah.
The other person I was responding to is Jason, but you're also Jason. Okay. So the last question that I want to ask you is, do you have any introductory tutorials? And I know you showed that there is some stuff. There is other places where people can get help. So can you let us know where those places are?
Yeah. So if you're signed in, click on the help in the bottom left. If you're not signed in, well, just sign in. It's better. There are a number of walkthrough videos. But if you just signed up, you may not have seen this as of yet. You will actually be included into an 8 email onboarding series. So anybody that's signing up now, expect 8 emails over the course of the next couple of weeks. Every one of them has something really interesting in there that'll sort of provoke you to try something new today. Build a link, customize your domain, build a landing page, build an HTML5 ad, and so on. It'll give you a how-to video for every one of those, and then it'll walk you through a bit of the importance around why you want to do those things. So follow the 8 email onboarding series that should be coming to your inbox. If you haven't seen it, check spam, check promotions, and make sure you okay those emails, because it'll be getting a lot of really juicy stuff.
Awesome. Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much for showing us all of that and everything else. Yes, Jason. Sorry, other Jason. Wow, you guys have the same initials and everything. I was going to say Jason H. That wasn't going to help either.
No.
Thank you. Thank you all so much for joining us today for this walkthrough. Thank you so much, Jason, for walking us through everything and answering
You're very welcome.
our questions. Yeah. Sumolings, if you have not already, you can go to appsumo.com/Found.ee and you can get started now. It's available right now as a freebie, so you can just like get going, get your account going, start moving. and shaken and placing some ads. And yeah, if you have any more questions, go ahead and leave those questions on the deal page. And then, of course, we want to hear how it is going once you are using the platform. So sorry, I'm reading the chat as they come in as well. So yeah, so we do, we do want to see how this is all going for you. So please go ahead and leave those comments on the deal page and let us know how it's working for you. Thank you again so much, Jason, for being here.
You're very welcome. Take care, everyone.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Have a good one.